And we're live. Not really. This is a recording. I'm the host and producer, Alex Pichardo. This is Diamonds and Hash Marks.
Oh, that's my cue. See, I miss it almost every single time. We've done this for how many episodes
This is
now, and I still don't
episode
know.
17.
17. Well, I'm sorry, listeners and viewers. For those of you guys who do not know me, but thank you for still listening. I'm the co-host, you dig, Peyton Pichardo.
Yeah, it's okay. You'll eventually figure it out. Maybe around episode 20.
30.
You'll have it down.
I'd say. No, give
You'll
me 30.
understand. After I introduce myself, I feel like we've gone over this enough. But after I introduce myself and trail off, that's when you introduce yourself. Because I don't want to
Right.
be introducing you for you.
But right, I understand that, and I thank you for that. But like, there have been times where you drag it on, you kind of introduce the show a little bit, and then you say it. So it caught me off guard when you were just like, "Hi, my name's Alex Pichardo."
All right, let's restart real quick. This is another episode of Diamonds and Hash Marks. I'm the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
I'm the co-host, Peyton Pichardo. You dig?
Off to a better start already. This is great.
Let's
I'm not
go.
editing that out, by the way.
I know.
DNH, we're back on the airwaves. It's another episode, as we've already said, episode like 17 at this point. I guess technically 18 because we split the last episode into two
Yeah.
episodes. So I guess
Still blaming Josh
Monday
Lawson for
/
that.
Tuesday. Yeah, I am. It's his fault, definitely not mine. It may have been mine, but we're moving on. It's a football first Monday. Lots of college football to talk about. Lots of
It's
NFL
a
football to talk about.
First Monday. Yeah, okay. Just make sure.
I got it right. Yeah, I know. I got it right. I'm the host and producer. It's a football first Monday. I'm not messing that up
muting
again.
myself so you can get through this.
Okay. Whew. You can tell it's a Monday. Lots to get through. Tons of housekeeping items first. So I guess I'll just speed through that real quick. Check us out on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Give us a 5-star review there. Helps us reach new people. We've got a ton of Spotify impressions, got a ton of people looking at the show, and we're really liking all of the engagement that we're seeing there. So keep giving us a 5-star review. Keep helping the algorithm figure out who to recommend us to next. Go check out What's Up Doc. They are also on Spotify. They're starting the clip game after I convinced Nick, kind of, that he should start putting clips on Instagram, and he hasn't done YouTube Shorts yet, but I think he should because YouTube Shorts is awesome. But follow us there as well. YouTube is Diamonds and Hash Marks, as well as Instagram, Diamonds and Hash Mark. If you want active engagement, go check out Twitter, Diamond Hash Mark. There is no S. And if you're trying to email the show to let us know what we think or what you think about what we think, diamondsandhashmarks@gmail.com. Hit us up there, and I will almost assuredly get back to you unless you are nasty and mean, and then I'll probably block you. But football first Monday, as I have already said, let's just go ahead and jump right into it. The first game that I want to start talking about is Ohio State versus Penn State. And this is the game that I kind of hyped up because I was excited about it. It was a top 10 matchup, number 3 versus number 6, I think, at the time, or something like that. Maybe, I can't remember. All the rankings have changed now, but I was hyping it up. I was excited to watch it. I had my butt on the couch ready to watch this game at noon because I was that excited about it. Gus Johnson is on the call. He starts talking, and now I'm even more excited.
Yeah.
But that game was so slow. I thought it was a case of bad offense and good defense from both teams, and the score kind of reflected that, I thought, a little bit. The most exciting play that happened was when Penn State forced a fumble from the quarterback, scooped it, scored it, but then it was negated because of a penalty. That's the most exciting thing that happened the whole game, and it didn't even count. The game left me wanting more, and I kind of wish I watched a different noon game. Did you watch any of that one?
I didn't. I forget what I was doing. I don't remember what I was doing. Yeah, on Saturday. This weekend kind of flew by a little bit. Oh. Goodness, I don't even know.
Yeah, so you had no shot at remembering what you were doing Saturday.
Nope, I have no idea.
Nope.
But I remember
if you're not doing it right now, you got no shot.
Right.
Okay,
So,
all right.
I remember not watching that game. I forget what other game I was watching, but I was just whatever I was doing, I was looking and checking like the scores of the games, and I was like, that should be a high scoring game. Like they shouldn't be. Yeah, and I didn't know that you were watching it, so I probably should have texted you and been like, "What's happening?"
Yeah. Well,
There's
I
nothing
mean,
going to happen.
admittedly, Penn State's defense I thought was kind of incredible. They
Mm.
really slowed down whatever offense that Ohio State had, which I didn't think was slouching all that much. It just didn't look like they got comfortable. Did you
Yeah.
see that Gus Johnson nicknamed Marvin Harrison Jr. the Maserati? Maserati
No, that's
Marvin.
awesome though.
Yeah, I know. I as
That's
soon as he
sick.
said it, his first catch, he said the Maserati, and I was, oh, that's beautiful. I love that. He needs
Yeah.
to trademark that, possibly. I don't know if Gus is trademarking that or Marvin, but somebody needs to put it on a
Yeah.
T-shirt. I'll get it.
Yeah.
That's sick. Yeah. Uh, but I wish I watched a different game. I
Yeah.
wish I watched the Minnesota Iowa game because that had a much more exciting finish.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was expecting more. Gus Johnson made it exciting, but I was expecting more out of that one. So, uh, another game over the weekend. The Tennessee Volunteers went to Tuscaloosa and played against the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I thought that was the beatdown of all beatdowns,
Mm.
ending the first half. At the end of the second quarter, the score was 20-7. Tennessee was winning. And I thought, wow, the landscape of college football really has changed. Tennessee has lost one game this year to the University of Florida, which admittedly has seemed to be a pretty bad beat on their record just because of what Florida's gone on to do. But dang, if they're beating Alabama 20-7 at half and Tennessee
Mm.
comes out here and finishes the job, it doesn't look like Alabama and Nick Saban are on top anymore.
Yeah. That's true.
I'm not going to lie, they had me in the first half though.
Yeah.
After that, Alabama went on to score 27 unanswered. The final score was 34-20.
Yeah.
Peyton, how does that happen? How do you put 20 points up in the first half, come out in the second half, and not put up a single point against the same defense you put up 20 on?
I hate to say it. It's Alabama, right? I mean,
Okay, that's
this is what we've seen for years. We've seen Alabama struggle in the first half. They can't get anything going on down the field. The running game and the passing game is non-existent, and
I guess that is true.
we see the other team have all of those have all those things like work out, and then all of a sudden they're in the lead, and we're like, oh my gosh, the end of Alabama, this is gonna be so tough. But then Nick Saban, being the coach over there at Alabama for all these years, gets into the locker room. Couldn't think of the name. Gets into the locker room with his guys and makes adjustments.
Yeah,
And they're a better football team when they come out of half. And that's why I think that the final score is what it was, because it's just simple adjustments that they have to make on the defensive side and offensive side of the ball. Um, and I watched that game. I watched the second half of that game, and I was just like, yeah, they're the better team. They're the better
yeah,
at making adjustments and capitalizing on it. So
yeah.
it's just Nick
I
Saban. I hate to say it, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I thought on the one hand, dang, Tennessee beating them down 20-7. This is evidence that Alabama is not the top dog it once was.
Yeah.
But coming out of the game, I'm thinking the exact opposite. This is
Mhm.
arguably Alabama's least talented roster since before they played the University of Florida in the late 2000s, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
And Nick Saban is still getting it done
Mhm.
with this kind of roster.
Yeah.
So
Just
in
goes
that
to
game,
show. Sorry. Just goes to show, like, the system still works. Whatever
yeah, I
system that
guess
he
so.
has.
Well, he's also shown a maturity to evolve over the years
Mm.
because
Yeah, that's true.
the late 2000s, early 2010s Alabama that I remember, and I'm sure you remember too, was the
Yeah.
I formation single back. We're going to hand it to Mark Ingram. We're going to hand it to,
Hmm.
I mean, it still was that up to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And now, or at least with Tua and Jalen Hurts, they evolved to kind of like a spread offense,
Yeah.
moving the ball around a little bit more. Granted, they also had Jerry Judy, Henry Ruggs, Jalen Waddle, all those guys. And what?
Insane.
You're shaking your head?
No, yeah,
Oh,
insane.
because
Like,
it's
just
insane. Yeah,
yeah.
I thought I said somebody was on Alabama when they weren't. So
No, they all were on Alabama. There was another
I
person I
think
can't think of them, but
I know they're Devontae Smith, but
yep. Yep.
that guy Nick Saban continues to get the job done.
Hmm.
Even with rosters that aren't necessarily as talented as they have been in the past. Because I
Great.
don't know about you, but can you name a single player for the University of Alabama this year?
Their quarterback.
What's his last name?
Milrow.
I thought it was Brioche. Like,
Dang.
that's what I was thinking. So, I guess it's not.
Yeah. Milrow. Or
Bama
I
scored
don't even know if I'm
27.
pronouncing it right. So, anyway.
Maybe. I don't know.
Milroe. So,
Milrow. Yeah.
Milrow.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So they scored 27 unanswered. There was a pivotal moment in that game where it was the end of the third quarter, and Bama settled for a longer field goal than they originally hoped. Their quarterback got sacked, didn't throw the ball away, so now they're kicking a field goal. They settled. They said, we'll take the points. And I think at this point in time, the score was 20-24. Alabama still had a lead.
Yeah.
So he kicks it. I think to start the fourth. So now it's 27-20. But then there was a 24-yard fumble return, and that's where the game ended. Like, that was very, not very early in the fourth quarter, but that was, I didn't think Tennessee had a shot to come back after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was just a brutal sequence of events, because then Tennessee comes out on offense and is forced into a 3-and-out, and they had to punt it away. And there's just no recovering.
Yeah, agreed.
Speaking of no recovering, let's talk about USC. Dang, they must really have no defense, huh?
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley has not developed a defense over there. That was awful.
It was.
Not even I'm saying that was awful because they got blown out. I'm saying it's awful because it was Utah's third-string quarterback that did all that against University of Southern California.
Third straight time beating USC with Caleb Williams at the helm. So,
has Caleb Williams ever beat Utah?
That's a great question.
That's crazy. He can't beat the Mormons? That's wild.
That is wild.
So, Caleb Williams can't beat the Mormons. Caleb Williams isn't going to win the Heisman this year, I don't think. I mean, he may still be the favorite, but honestly, what that kid's doing over there out of Washington, can't think of his name off the top of my head. I don't know if they give it. Jr. Yeah, I don't think they give it to Caleb Williams if Washington finishes the way that they look like they're going to finish.
Penix is a dog.
He's getting it done.
Yeah.
So he can't beat the Mormons. They're out of the college football playoff. Are we realistically saying that at the beginning of the year, USC was possibly a favorite to win the Natty, make the college football playoff, and Caleb Williams was a favorite to win the Heisman? But 8 weeks in, we're saying no to all of those.
Right.
And all it took was 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
One of which was
losses.
Both
Terrible.
of them
like
not
mistakes
awesome.
Left and right. So
yeah, I mean, I can understand losing to Utah because they're a little bit better of a team.
Yeah.
But at the same time, those are the games that you have to win if you're going for the Natty, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I feel like if you can't have a 2-loss season and be in the Natty. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So, like...
No, I don't think the College Football Playoff Committee is going to let that happen.
At all.
So,
yeah.
Did you see the end of Minnesota and Iowa?
Sadly. I saw clips on it on Twitter. I didn't see it live, but goodness.
Yeah.
Iowa fans, I am so sorry for you guys.
What a roller coaster of emotions you guys went through.
What a roller coaster.
I can't imagine that.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this for a second? If you were on DraftKings or Caesar Sportbooks and you were placing your bet, the over-under was 30.5 and the spread was Iowa by 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
If that late touchdown counts and they kick the extra point field goal, that's 17-12 is your final score.
Yep.
So the under still hits. It's not a bad beat there.
Right. Yeah.
But where it's a bad beat is that touchdown counts and Iowa covers. But now they don't.
No, they don't. Yeah.
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, what happened was there was a game-winning or go-ahead special teams return that went for a touchdown that was then negated by an invalid fair catch penalty. So I don't
understand.
Something I've heard of before. But I think essentially what happened was this guy, the returner, went after the ball, kind of threw his left hand out there.
It didn't look like it was like a full hey, fair catch.
Yeah, it didn't look like the normal fair catch wave we see, but if you're a returner, I guess that's not something you can do. You have to be very deliberate with what you're doing with your arms, because if you signal fair catch, that's nobody can touch you. But if you're doing all this with your arms and you're not signaling fair catch and everybody thinks you did, but now you got the ball and you're running, that's a problem, because now you got a defenseless guy getting lit up or something. I don't know. But invalid fair catch penalty negates the go-ahead touchdown. On the ensuing drive, Minnesota intercepts the ball to end it. And that's brutal.
Yeah.
Within a span of, I think, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds of game clock. But within 10 minutes, Iowa went from, I can't believe we're losing to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we did it. We're winning. Hold on, wait, that didn't count. But we still got a shot. We lost to Minnesota.
Yeah.
That's up and down. I'm telling you. Yeah. I couldn't do it. Well, I mean, I kind of do, because I'm a Gator fan, but just brutal.
It was wild. Yeah, I know one of the offensive linemen for the Iowa team, so I don't know if he was out there or not. I don't think he was. I think he's still working up his ranks in the on the depth chart. But I felt for it because I was like, man, like that's awful. It's not how you want to see a game to end while you're ranked. I think they were I think they were ranked 20th or something.
I know, just so close.
Not a way you want to lose a game.
It seemed, yeah. FSU and Duke. That's another game I want to touch on real quick. As we wrap up college football here.
Yeah,
that game was kind of going the way that you and I said it was going to go. I said Duke messed up Clemson in week 1. I'm looking at Duke. I like the way that they're playing the ball right now, the way that their head coach is moving things, and I think they got a real shot to beat FSU. Now, I think at one point the score was 20-24, and Duke was right there. But
I'll look at that. Yeah,
Riley Leonard got hurt. Yep. And now Duke is on their second string quarterback, and he's just not that same guy. I'm sure he's a great player, really smart kid, really good kid, but he's not Riley Leonard.
Right.
And so now you got Duke out there kind of just trying to see what works, and FSU just being the machine that it is.
Yeah.
So that game, I think, was trending towards a Duke victory.
Yeah, it was 20-17 until the fourth quarter.
You see? Yeah. I thought Duke was going to do it, but ultimately the better team with more talent, I think FSU won that game. Yep. However, unbeaten they are. I'm not necessarily high on FSU, and I understand they're the number 4 team in the country, number 3 team in the country, somewhere in there, top 5. I don't know exactly what. But that's a scary game also, because that's Duke. Duke is not known for its football prowess. Prowess.
Yeah.
Not known for their football powers. So I didn't think that was very impressive. Like, I thought they should have beat Duke by a lot more than they did.
Yeah. Agreed. Agree with that. Because you look at the powerhouse of the FSU has been just from the beginning of the season until on, and kind of we saw a glimpse of it. I think the end of last season, which was like, all right, FSU's the team. They just got to find something that works for them. They got to find an offensive scheme that can go out there and score points quick and fast. And that's what we've been seeing. So we kind of expected that going into this game, but it just didn't happen. And then they finally caught fire in the fourth quarter, scoring 21 points. So, and then Duke didn't score again. So,
yeah. So, I don't know. FSU won. I kind of wanted Duke to win, but the way that FSU's trending right now, I'm not necessarily high on them. So,
are you saying that because you're the Gator fan?
I'm saying that because they went down to the wire against a bad LSU team.
Oh, yeah.
They do play the Gators later in the year. Kind of hoping that the Gators squeak that one out.
Last game. I think it's the last game.
Yeah, it always is. I know it's at UF this year, so heads up. But speaking of the Gators, if there were anything that the Gators could have done to lose the bye week, they would have done it.
Yeah.
But instead this year, I think they won the bye week. We don't often go into recruiting news. Yeah. But the University of Florida, during the bye week, landed 5-star defensive lineman L.J. McCray. He committed to the University of Florida. He ranks number 8 overall and number 1 out of defensive linemen in the top 300 rankings. Billy Napier stays that guy. in the recruiting space. Obviously, Kirby Smart is a different breed. Obviously,
Oh,
Nick
yeah.
Saban gets to walk in and say, "My name's Nick Saban, come to Alabama." But Billy Napier is getting the job done on the recruiting grounds, I think.
That's true. That's true.
That's a big get.
Yep. That's a big get.
Yeah. Let's transition to a little bit of NFL talk here. The last episode we did was on a Thursday, and we previewed the Jags versus the Saints.
Mhm.
Then they went out and played. How did you feel about that game? Did you watch much of it?
I watched all of it.
Nice.
We were here at the house. Me and my girlfriend were, and we were just kind of like we were watching the game, and I wasn't like necessarily nervous at all. Like through the entire maybe when like Lawrence was making those big runs, which we'll talk about that here soon. I'm sure. But I wasn't nervous like when we were like I think wasn't it tied at some point at like 28-28 or I don't even know if it was tied, but I knew that like the Saints were in the lead or something to that matter. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I just remember like man they're probably gonna drive down the field and they're gonna get the job done. I didn't know exactly what the score was, but I knew that the ball was dropped in the end zone. And I saw that and I was like, all right, that was an opportunity. Let's see if they can do it again, and they didn't. So, like, the whole entire time, I wasn't really like nervous. It was just like, I mean, we're better than this. We can somehow come away with this. I want to be able to watch the Jags post game and see the MVPs of the game, which was Christian Kirk and Foye and Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, it was great. Glad we got the win, and now we got I don't even know who we have next. I think we have 49ers. Who do we have?
I think so.
49ers.
I know that the 49ers game recently got flexed, so I think they're moving it to primetime possibly. Hey, the Jaguars have never been on Sunday Night Football, so that could be huge.
They're going to be this year. They're going to be this year.
Oh, really?
The Ravens.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they'll be on NBC.
So Trevor Lawrence, obviously, we were a little concerned about his left knee going into that game, and our hearts started beating a little faster every time he took off out of the pocket.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least to me, he looked pretty healthy.
He got the job done. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't look like it was bothering him.
It didn't look like it was it probably was killing him, but didn't look like it was bothering him. He was moving around the pocket like he normally did, and he had it like taped up and braced up. He went out there and he was a dog.
Yeah. Now, how about a guy that doesn't look healthy right now? And nothing's out there officially on the injury report. But a guy that I don't think is healthy right now is Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
He just doesn't look right. And he's not he doesn't have the wide receiver one production that we were expecting out of him.
At all.
He just doesn't look right. I think I remember watching parts of that Saints game and seeing him make a catch or drop a pass, come off to the sideline, and just like take a knee, like not look good. So I don't know what's up there. Do you think anything's up? Or do you think he's perfectly healthy and just not able to get it done right now?
There's something there, I'm sure. I mean, I think it happens in the NFL more than we think. Like when people like are kind of just like get hurt and kind of shove it off. I think that's kind of what's happening here. But like I'm assuming like the training staff also knows like that he isn't healthy too, but he's going out there and he's doing his thing, but they're letting it happen because it's like little stuff. So I really want him to get healthy because I mean he's been wide receiver one for us this year. Not in the sense for these past couple of games, but like we saw a little glimpse of it in Week 1 against the Colts, and then we never really saw it again. So
haven't really seen it again.
So
desperately,
we'll see what happens.
Desperately want to see it. It's been a while since we've had one. So I honestly thought the tail of the tape at the end of the game was more bad Saints than it was good Jags, even though we executed and we're definitely taking advantage of the mistakes that the Saints are making. But I thought that was just a brutal look for Derek Carr, getting visibly frustrated with his offense and his receivers.
Like never did that in Oakland or / Las Vegas.
Yeah, I can't remember a time when he did that over there in Oakland and Las Vegas. It didn't look right. Like you get Odell Beckham Jr. throwing his helmet, and you're like, yeah, that fits. But you get Derek Carr like yelling at his teammate on the field, and you're like, hold on now, something doesn't add up right there.
Yeah,
Like, what's
yeah.
going on?
So
But
it was
then
weird.
the analyst, Kirk Herbstreit, like blatantly calling out Alvin Kamara for running the wrong route because I guess
Yeah.
it was an option route, and it's kind of obvious he needs to come back towards the ball there, and he didn't, and that's where
Yeah.
the ball went, as if he were coming back, but he
Trying to
wasn't
come
there.
back.
So
Yeah, I
I
remember
was
that.
like, dang, if Kamara really was wrong, ran the wrong route, and Derek Carr is upset about, like, there's got to be some underlying frustration there. Like,
Yeah.
they were supposed to be pretty good this year, I thought, especially when you
Yeah.
looked at the quarterbacks they were competing against this
Yeah, the
year.
running game with Josh Jacobs being the rushing leader last year, and then you got Devontae
Right.
Adams, Max Crosby on defense, and you're just
Hold
like,
on.
this should be a
No,
good
no,
team.
no. That's the Raiders. That's the Raiders. We're talking about Derek Carr on the
The
Saints.
Saints. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, so gosh, like
We're getting there.
Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara, and then you got on defense. I can't think of his name right now off the top of my head, but like
I
they
think,
got some key
yeah,
players on
they
defense.
got some guys,
Yeah,
and I thought they were going to be a lot better.
yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
when we
crazy.
talk about Derek Carr, I immediately go to the Raiders. That's so
He's
funny.
stuck in the black and silver for you, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he
None of
is.
this
He is.
black and gold stuff is.
Nope.
Dang. So that's 4 wins in 19 days for the Jags, and I'm feeling pretty good. We
Let's
had that
go.
episode not too long ago titled "Pain and Panic," and I was ready to press the panic button. I was freaking out.
Yep.
4 wins in 19 days ain't too bad.
That ain't
I'll
too
take
shabby.
it.
We're 5-2, and leading the division. We're looking like one of the not I won't say one of the best, but we're making our
We're
case for one of the best teams in the AFC.
Yeah, I think we're a top 5 AFC team.
Yeah.
And in that mix, I would put the Dolphins, the Bills somewhere in there at some capacity. The
Chiefs. Well,
Chiefs,
no, well the Bills
absolutely.
lost. The Bills lost to the Patriots.
Which I don't get, and the Dolphins lost horribly to the Eagles. So I think the AFC has a lot of good teams, but nobody's
AFC
getting it
shake
done
up.
right now. Yeah. So Josh was on this past Thursday, and
Our resident Colts fan,
the
not
resident
Josh Allen.
Colts fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
And
better
we
Josh
asked him, who plays for the Jags on the D line. We asked Josh Lawson, hey man,
Yeah.
you guys are playing the Browns next. Questionable as to whether or not Deshaun Watson plays. But if you
Yeah.
guys are going to win that game, what has to go right? What are the keys to success? And what did he say? He said, if we win this game, it's going to be 10-7, 14-7, low scoring game, ground and pound, Jonathan Taylor. What's the other running back? Zach Moss.
Yep.
Gardner Minshew dumping the ball off here and there.
Yeah.
Because there's no Nick Chubb. Who knows if Deshaun Watson is playing? Granted, the secondary's in shambles, so the Browns may pass a bunch with PJ Walker.
Yeah.
But man, was he wrong about low scoring game.
Yeah.
I didn't watch much of it. They could have been running the ball like crazy. But the final score was 39-38, and the Browns won.
77. Man,
I know.
slam the over.
Right? And we both slammed the under on that. So
that's crazy.
Where Diamonds and Hash Marks was wrong, yet again, was on the over-under.
That should be a segment.
I don't like
Where
that segment.
Diamond and Hash Marks were wrong.
I've already apologized on this show more times than I wanted to when we started. I don't want to have a whole segment based on when we apologize for being wrong. I don't know. So
well,
I guess
Colin Coward does it, but I mean, anyway.
I know he does, so I don't exactly want to rip off of him, but if you're listening to this or you're watching the clip or whatever, let us know down in the comment section or anywhere you could possibly comment on the show if you want to see a segment like where DNH was wrong. And we'll just apologize for being wrong. So just let us know. We'll see if we do that, I guess. If you want to see it, we'll do it. But the end of that game, the Colts got hosed on 2 late penalties.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw those, but I went and looked because, man, Twitter was alive about it.
Yeah, I think I saw
I'm not the biggest Colts fan. Not the biggest Colts fan. We've seen them play against the Jags numerous times.
Sure.
Break the Jaguars' hearts.
Yeah.
I am mad for them.
Oh. Wow.
So I know lots of development, lots of growth on this show recently, but
lots of growth. Love it.
I'm upset for Josh because
yeah,
number one, they called a bogus penalty, some version of roughing the passer. It was like illegal use of hands when they were ripping the ball away from the quarterback as he was trying to throw the ball into the end zone.
Mm.
That I don't think that would have ended the game, but them throwing the flag gave gave the Browns another opportunity um, to throw the ball after that.
Yeah.
The next throw went out of the back of the end zone by a good margin. I'm talking 8 to 10 yards is where the ball landed out of the end zone. And they threw the flag for pass interference there,
Mm. Yeah.
but that ball wasn't catchable. And then the Browns won the game. I can't remember. I think it was a late touchdown, but because the penalty occurred in the end zone, it put the ball on like the 2 or the 1. I can't remember what it was because that uh,
Uh-huh.
pass interference call was a spot penalty, even though the ball was blatantly uncatchable.
Yeah. Dang.
I don't think it helps that we have so many camera angles of every play these days.
Right. Yeah.
But at the same time, it just looks so easy for some watchdog to throw up the flag and be like, hey, I think the refs got this one wrong. We need to review this right now. Like, the commissioner's office has to have some type of watchdog review board.
Yeah.
That I'm not talking about holding officials responsible because I get if they miss a call blatantly, if nobody was looking at it, I guess. But if something that egregious happens during a game and nobody can challenge and the refs aren't saying, hey, we need to take another look at this, somebody somewhere, because I thought that was the booth's job
Yeah. It
to
is.
handle all reviews. So, like, how did we miss that? And I understand that pass interference, don't go in the comment section and say pass interference isn't reviewable. Like, if our hope is to get things right,
Yeah.
we need to have a watchdog say, hey, that's not a good call. Don't enforce it.
Yeah.
Like, just let it go, run the next play, make it third down or whatever. Like, we're in search of absolute truth with replay in the NFL. But then there are plays where absolute truth is available, but it's not reviewable. And there's
Right.
just got to be some type of intermediary there. So
I
I'm
feel like that
upset for the
should have been
Colts.
like out. I mean, like when replays was made available to the people. I mean, but
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll
Eagles
really go
versus
with that.
Dolphins. This will be kind of the last game that we recap real quick. 31
Yeah.
17 Eagles win.
Mhm.
The Eagles, I didn't watch much of this game, but what I did see was the
I
Eagles
watched
didn't
most
look
of it.
scared on defense. They didn't look like they were panicked.
No.
It looked like the Dolphins offense, watching from a casual fan perspective, it looked like most of the Dolphins offense is predicated upon playing with a lead or playing against a scared defense. It's almost like one of those offenses that when they play a bad team, i.e. the Broncos, they blow them up, they expose them. It's not even
Yeah.
close. They're like, you're a bad offense, you're panicked, you don't match up well against us. We're going to put up 70 easy. But if you're a good defense and you're not playing panic, suddenly they can't score.
Yeah.
It didn't look like they could create any offense. I don't know if you have a different take than me, but what do you think of that game?
I felt like it was kind of like slow to begin with. I think for the first couple of quarters, I think I remember it being like 17-17 at some point. I think either going into the half or like maybe going into the fourth quarter. I couldn't remember, but I just remember being slow, and then the Eagles kind of like finally picked it up a little bit. And that's what led to like the final score, like Miami not scoring another touchdown, field goal, nothing, nada, and Eagles taking this one 31-17. So
Yeah. Hey, hats off to them for
yeah,
winning the game, figuring the offense out, getting it done.
yeah, needed to, man,
But something
needed
that,
to.
yeah, absolutely. But something that I just wanted to bring up real quick is
Yeah.
it didn't look like they could generate a whole lot of offense, and they were kind of standstill.
Mm.
What happens when it's a cold weather game and you can't pass the ball around a bunch like you
Yeah.
ordinarily would down in Miami? Because I thought the conditions the defense enforced are going to be very similar to the conditions that weather could enforce.
Mm.
How does Mike McDaniel adjust for a cold weather game in the future?
Ground and pound running game. I think that's what you kind of have to go to with the jet sweep as well, probably, possibly,
Yeah, got to implement
maybe.
that, I
But
guess, a
like
little bit more.
implement that, but there's really not anything else you can do. I think just like
He's got more speed than anybody. He's got Mostert
yeah,
and Achin in the backfield.
yeah,
I felt like if anybody's going to be able to pull off ground and pound and just continue to run the ball by committee, it could be them. But
Yeah.
if that's
A-Chain's
not
hurt, and then Mostert had I don't even know how many yards. So
Yeah, if that's not available for them, I think they're in real trouble. And this is the conversation we have at the back end of every year. Hey, great regular season, go do it in cold weather.
yeah,
Because throwing the ball around in snow and wind, it's just not
Mm.
the same as the rest of your training
Yeah.
camp, you know?
That's a bucket list of mine to see an NFL game in the snow, whether it's in
Yeah,
Lambeau or Buffalo. I think that would
would
be
love it. That
amazing.
would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Niners and Packers tonight. We'll go ahead and pick
Yup.
this game very quickly.
Let's do it.
Couple of headlines though going into this game.
Yep.
Number one, is Brock Purdy elite? I don't know. I'm almost willing to say yes, but we're not going to do this right now. We're already over time on our football segment, so I guess we'll tackle that on Thursday if we possibly could. But
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey is hurt,
He's
but he is
active for
active.
this game. Yeah.
Yeah, which I need for my fantasy team. I'm in shambles
Me
right
too,
now,
bro.
so
Me too.
I need a good 50 plus points for him, and I need George Kittle to lose 2 or 3 fumbles if I'm gonna win. I'm getting
Wow.
blown out right now,
Yeah,
and it's because I played against Lamar Jackson this week. If I lose fantasy football, it's because my opponent had either a defense or a quarterback go off for 50 plus points on the defensive side of the ball, and I don't know how you can beat 357 yards passing and 4 total touchdowns out of Lamar Jackson. So
yeah, it's the end. I was saying to watch.
yeah, I'm in shambles. It's okay. It's
Okay.
also primetime Kirk Cousins, so I guess we'll see how good that'll be.
Right.
Historically, not a great primetime player, or at least that narrative's out there. I don't know how much it actually affects him, but he's always playing these good teams in primetime, and he just can't get it done.
Yeah.
So as of right now, San Francisco is favored by 7, and the over/under is 43.5. The way that this game is moving right now for San Francisco, I'm taking them to cover the spread. I take San Francisco to win this.
Yeah.
I want to take the over so badly, but I think we just watched them. I think we watched San Francisco kind of crumble against the Browns defense that had a half decent pass rush. I'll say San Francisco covers, but I'll take the under just to go out on a limb here.
Yeah. I agree with you. San Francisco, I think, is going to win this game. And this could possibly go on the segment of when Diamonds and Hashbox was wrong. But so they
beautiful segment.
Beautiful segment. We love growth. So I say that San Francisco, I think, takes this one. So they would definitely cover the spread. They'll cover the spread. Gosh, and then over under here, I'm actually going to take the over just to be opposition towards you. And I think that we're going to see a high scoring game. At least that's what I need to. That's what I need to see in regards to fantasy as well. I have Brock Purdy and McCaffrey in. So we'll see that. Oh, and I have Hawkinson. In as well. So like a lot of scoring, a lot of yards needs to happen here. So I mean,
need him to do well too. Gosh.
Right.
Yeah. Let's do a little buy, sell, or hold now that we've got that out of the way. We saw Tyrod Taylor playing quarterback for the New York Giants this past week because Daniel Jones is still out. And there's a possibility that Daniel Jones is ready to go this next game. But I don't know if they should. So buy, sell, or hold, Tyrod Taylor has the Giants better off than Daniel Jones.
Oh gosh.
Hey, look, man, I think the Giants are screwed either way because these are the two guys that they're choosing between. And that's nothing against Tyrod Taylor and everything against Daniel Jones.
Bro, I'm gonna hold because I feel bad for them. I feel bad for the Giants.
Brian Dable didn't ask for this.
He did not ask for this, and I mean the Giants came away with a win against the Commanders for one. So I mean,
did you see that post game interview that they did?
No, I didn't.
Can't remember the dude's name, but oh gosh, ESPN Get Up was all over it this morning. They showed the interview because the reporter walks up to the guy who's standing there with his button-up shirt flying open, a chain on, a do-rag, and shades inside with AirPods on. And he went on a rant about how he's sick of this because it's been 8 years of the same.
Oh, yes.
Stuff,
Jonathan.
Right? I can't remember his name, but...
Jonathan Allen, I think.
Possibly. I don't know. But Ryan Clark, to his credit... so they come back from commercial, right?
Yes, Jonathan Allen.
Mike Greenberg is like, we had to pay our bleep guy extra overtime for that. And then Ryan Clark was like, how are you going to walk up to that dude, ask that question, and not get expletives?
Yeah,
Like, Jonathan Allen doesn't even have weights. Why is he wearing a do-rag?
I don't know.
So if he's
I don't
wearing
know.
that for the look, how do you not get expletives? So
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Just you feel bad for the Commanders, but so you're holding. Brian
Uh-oh.
Dable didn't ask for this, and you feel bad for him.
I feel bad.
I'm
Yeah.
buying because I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer there. I think Tyrod Taylor on his fourth or fifth team has a shot to be a starting quarterback, and I think he should. I mean, it's very reminiscent of Blake Bortles' contract when he was with the Jaguars right before we let go of him.
Yeah.
I think you got to do the difficult thing here and cut ties as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Buy, sell, or hold. While the Las Vegas Raiders are 3-4, they should look into trading Max Crosby and Devontae Adams.
I'll buy that. I think
Here,
that's
let's do it
definitely.
individually. Should they look into trading Max Crosby? Buy, sell, or hold.
Oh, now when you put it like that, I don't know. I feel like you have to have a defensive presence there, because other than Max Crosby, I can't tell you who else is there off the top of my head. So I'll
Khalil
say
Mack.
actually,
Oh, wait.
mm,
So I
also
would. Okay.
also
So you
Max
would sell
Crosby.
on Max Crosby. Do you buy, sell, or hold on Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams, yes. I feel like Devontae
Okay.
Adams needs to go somewhere else. Garoppolo's not getting it done for him, and whoever the backup is for the Raiders
Hoyer.
than
They
Garoppolo,
started
Hoyer.
Hoyer.
Yeah, started Hoyer because I think Garoppolo's hurt. I think.
Again.
I think again, right?
Yeah.
So,
So how about this? Who's
you
the
need something
quarterback
there.
for the Raiders next year?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
Tom Brady.
So, well, he's a partial owner, so I guess
I
he
know.
could if he wanted
So
to.
he could. So he
Yeah,
could step in.
he could
Yeah,
walk
I have
in
no idea.
there to the ownership meeting and say, "No, no, no, I'm the answer." He has the
No, no, no.
opportunity to do
I'm
quite
captain
literally the
now.
funniest. So, if Tom Brady wants to be the quarterback in Las Vegas, by all means, he should.
Right,
Yeah,
but
I'm with you. I sell on Max
realistically, no.
Crosby. I buy on Devontae Adams. But if you put the
Yeah,
two together, I think even though you're 3-4, it's not looking good, and it doesn't
nope.
sound like Devontae Adams is all that bought in. So maybe you just blow it up while you can.
Mhm. Yeah, agreed.
I'm in favor of blowing it up when you can. Out of context, that statement's wild, but within the context of football, I'm okay with blowing up a roster as soon as you can. Let's transition into a little bit of baseball here. Buy, sell, or hold. I've been thinking a lot about this, man. With as much as the Astros are on TV and as much praise as Jose Altuve is getting,
Yeah. Did you
I'm
see
not
the
his
Reggie
biggest
Jackson
fan.
clip?
No.
Like, no, Reggie Jackson is like, I love watching the greatness of Jose Altuve. I don't know if I'm ready to give him the Mr. October title yet, something like that.
I mean, I don't care. I'll never call him Mr. October. As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, that belongs to David Ortiz. Mr. Reggie.
Ooh, come on, baby. Okay.
Yeah, just not the biggest Jose Altuve fan, not the biggest Alex Bregman fan, George Springer, Michael Brantley, Carlos Beltran, Brian McCann, anybody on that roster.
Yeah. Did you mention Correa? I don't think you did.
Carlos Correa. Here's where I eventually this is the question that I asked.
Sure.
Buy, sell, or hold. Major League Baseball not suspending the Astros involved in the 2017 cheating scandal has actually hurt the players in the long run.
I agree with that. Yeah. I mean, you have to face some kind of repercussionary action for what happened because, like, you got caught. It was true. All the evidence points to it. But I think the reason that they didn't want to do it is because they were the World Series champs.
So here's where I am on it.
So I buy.
I say yes, I buy as well. And the reason I buy is I think I would be more willing to forgive if there were a legitimate apology and a penance paid. But
Agreed.
because
There wasn't.
I haven't gone looking to find it, so if it's out there, please let me know. diamonds@hashmarks@gmail.com. But I don't see any evidence of a legitimate apology. that says,
Yeah.
hey, we did something extremely wrong. We shouldn't have done that. We won't do it again. And as far as I'm concerned, they were given immunity and nobody paid the price. They walked into the COVID year absent fans. And Major League Baseball instituted a policy that said you cannot hit a Houston Astros player. So not only did Major League Baseball not police the game, they did not allow the game to police itself. So there is no penance paid for the wrongdoing.
No.
There may be an apology, but there's no penance paid. Haven't seen an apology paid or an apology said or
Yeah.
given. So I'm not as willing to forgive. I don't know what that says about me,
I think that's fair.
but I don't. Not the biggest fan.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
Guys, I'm already looking forward to the Houston hate week if they make the World Series. All right, that's kind of where I am. I don't know if they win Game 7, but Game 7's tonight. But
Yep.
if they do, get ready for a couple of those episodes. It's going to be a wild trip.
Actually, getting ready to preview that game here soon.
Yeah.
So
Buy, sell, or hold. Nathan Eovaldi is him.
he is Himothy.
Himothy
Himothy
Eovaldi.
Jones. Himothy Eovaldi. Like, he does not shy away from the big moments in the postseason. We have seen it time and time again. We've seen it when he was with the Red Sox. The only thing I would exclude is when Max Muncy decided to take a dump on him and send it in over the left field wall to win the game. Like, one of the longest postseason games, I think, is on record. But, like, other than that, he has shown time and time again, whatever team he is on, the adrenaline and the blood is pumping so much, like, faster for him, and he is going out there and he's proven himself to be a dog time and time again. So,
yeah,
yes, I'm buying he is Himothy.
He's him. Nathan, the Himothy Eovaldi. I don't know what his name is, but it's got to be something like that.
Yeah.
He's a guy. He went out there for Game 2, got the job done. He went out there for Game 6, got the job done.
Yep.
Didn't necessarily matter what they were asking him to do. He was going to go out there and do it. He went out there, I think, with the thought process, I just have to get it to the 7th, or I have to get it past the 6th, or something like that. And he did it with a lead. Now, we're about to get into it and preview Game 6 right here. But
yeah,
that game was a lot closer than the score indicated. And I could not be more excited for the Texas Rangers having won that game. And how it happened. But it does not happen without Nate Eovaldi being big game Himothy Nathan Eovaldi.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much you can trust Max Scherzer tonight in Game 7. I guess they're rolling with him. But I think if you could ask Nathan Eovaldi, can you pitch Game 6 and 7? He would say yes and do it well. I think he would. I think he's that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and start. Houston versus Texas. How did we get here? Let's go back in this series. Let's look at each of these games, go over the scores. Because we've arrived at the greatest 2 words in all of sports. Game 7. And it's beautiful. I love every part about it. Here's how we got here.
Yep.
The Texas Rangers walked into
Minute Maid Park.
Yeah, they walked into Minute Maid Park, but I was actually going back further. They walked into Tropicana and said,
"Wow, going way back." Go ahead.
Well, it's not actually that far along or far back. It's only like 20 days now. But they walked into Tropicana Field and they took care of the Tampa Bay Rays, who were arguably one of baseball's better teams. They walked into Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland, and took care of the Orioles. 3 games, nice and easy. Now they're in a fight. They got the Astros. Game 1 in Houston. Rangers win 2-0. Game 2 in Houston. Rangers win 5-4. Game 3 in Arlington, Texas. Astros win. 8-5. Astros win 10-3. Astros win 5-4. Are you picking up on a theme yet? Has the home team won a game this series? Do you think we see a home team win a game tonight in
This
Houston?
series,
I want it to be the Rangers so
I
bad.
want it to be the Rangers so bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rangers Phils World Series would be amazing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
You would
I'm
have both
hoping the
hats for that.
pattern.
Oh,
Yes.
speaking
And,
of, we have a winner. So I'm going to reach out to
oh,
the winner, and
nice.
I am going to see if they want to either be on the show or just get a shout out. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm doing there.
nice. Awesome.
But yeah, Astros win 5-4 in Arlington, Texas. Game comes back to Houston. Rangers win 9-2. Now, you might be thinking 9-2. Hold on now. That's a pretty big margin of error. Why are you talking about this game being so close? Well, because it was very close for a very long time.
For a long time, yeah.
Houston scored in the first, making it 1-0. Texas scored in the second, making it 1-1. We stayed there until the fourth. Texas made it 3-1. It was 3-2 after the sixth. In the eighth, it was 4-2 Texas. I know that Jonathan Heim poked one over the fence opposite field. It had like an exit velocity of 95 miles an hour, which isn't all that fast for exit velo. Didn't go all that far. It's only a home run in 2 of the 30 MLB stadiums. Yankee Stadium, the shortest right field porch, and the Houston Astros, the second shortest right field porch. So he got a little bit of luck, I guess, just hitting it at that stadium, because anywhere else it's a flyout. Kyle Tucker looked like he caught it, but he didn't. But then the ninth inning rolled around, and Texas got off to a hot start, and it felt like it was just actually prior to that, in the bottom of the eighth, it felt like a ticking time bomb. That bottom of the eighth was, oh my gosh, it was horrendous, because we watched, I can't pronounce his name right, but SBORZ, Spores. Essentially, we watched him and look like he was one wild pitch away from all of the runners scoring, or one bad pitch away, or like he was going to walk the next batter, he was going to throw a wild pitch, he was going to give up a bomb. That's what it felt like. Leclerc comes in, walks the first guy he faces, then gets out of the inning, and there is not a bigger out than the line out to Corey Seager during that inning. That's what saved the inning there. But then you walk into the ninth, and the score is 4-2. But what happens in that ninth is Corey Seager is hit by a pitch, run scores. Then who's pitching and who comes up to hit? Stanek was pitching. Adolis Garcia comes up to hit. With the bases loaded in the ninth and a 3-run game, you know exactly what Adolis Garcia wanted to do. He went up to the plate with only one thing in mind. And what he went up there to do was, I'm trying to deposit this ball as far away from home plate as humanly possible.
Back to Arlington.
He tried to send it all the way back to Arlington. He wanted to.
Yeah.
Stanek made the mistake of giving him a pitch belt high, belt to letters, somewhere in there. He didn't necessarily get underneath the ball. I thought he caught the top half of the ball, just happened to be in the air, had a bunch of top spin on it.
Yeah.
But that was a rocket out to left field. Grand slam. Now they're leading 9-2.
Right.
Suddenly the game isn't close anymore. The Texas Rangers actually went from, we're going to risk it with Aroldis Chapman trying to close this game out in the ninth because they didn't want Leclerc sitting there for so long. They went from, let's risk it with Aroldis Chapman to, I mean, we can have Andrew Heaney do it.
Yeah.
Because we're ahead 9-2. So, oh man, that game, I'm sitting in bed, my heart's pounding watching the end of that one. It was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Game 6, a lot closer than it indicated. Most of the game took place from the 8th inning on, but we got Game 7 tonight.
Game 7.
We asked this question on Thursday. Would you trust Max Scherzer with Game 7? You said yes. I said, I think you have to, but I wouldn't want to.
Right.
He's going for him tonight. Man, I don't know. I want the Texas Rangers to win. I don't want Houston to go any further. I'm tired of the Houston Astros dynasty narrative. I'm ready for Texas to possibly get at least a play in the World Series because I think that team's going to be good for a while. But ultimately, I think I want Philly to win it. But you have to trust Scherzer to go out there, and he's pitching against Javier for the Astros, who the last time the Rangers saw him, threw like 25 straight fastballs to start the game. I honestly think, tell me if I'm wrong, this game comes down to who has the better fastball.
Yep.
Is Max sharp with 94 to 96, 97? And can the Texas Rangers offense take care of a major league fastball if that's all he's going to throw in the beginning? Who has the better one? And I think if the Rangers score first, they have a real good shot at finishing it out. The later this game goes, the better chance I give Houston, because it's Houston's park. And obviously, at that point, they've got a myriad of guys that they can go to in the bullpen. Abreu being one of them, because he is appealing his suspension, so he's still available.
It's actually upheld.
Oh, really? So he's done for 2.
He will serve it. Yeah.
Okay, so they're without their second best bullpen piece for Game 7.
Oh wait, hold on. Let me see. So Brian Abreu to serve 2-game suspension next season. Never mind.
Oh, no,
that's dumb. That's dumb. So he will be available.
Yeah, that's awful. Okay, well, whatever. How do you feel about tonight? Who are you taking tonight? Game 7, winner take all, moving on to the World Series. Who are you going with? Fair enough. I'm going with Texas as well. I don't want to live in a world.
I really want it to happen for them. They have come from wild card position to looking like an absolute threat against the Astros. They need to keep.
To be fair, they led the division most of the year, so I don't. They came out of the wild card, but they've been working at it all year. So.
Oh yeah. My shirt is not my friend today.
I don't want to have to. I'm sorry that you're having such a hard time with it. I can tell. Yeah. Like over the course of today, you've been like adjusting your little jean jacket there and trying to get the letters right.
Whatever.
And,
okay. Anyway.
Yeah, that's what you get for trying to be the more stylish one out of the two of us.
Alrighty.
I guess. All right. Yeah, I think it comes down to who has the better fastball. I don't want to live in a world where the Houston Astros win another World Series, but obviously that's a little facetious. I'm glad to live in this world, but I just don't want Houston. I'm going to be insufferable the entire offseason, and you guys are going to have to sit here with me through it if Houston wins.
Yep.
You're looking forward to that, Peyton. I know you are. Philly versus Arizona. How did we get here? The Phillies, man. The Phillies. Just, I can't believe we looked at. I've lost my co-host. He had to get his other hat. All right, that's fair. The game actually has already started. It had like a 5:07 start time, but how did we get here with the Phillies? We counted them out pretty early on in the year because the Braves were running away with the NL East. Then the Phillies beat the Marlins in the wild card. They beat the Braves in 4. Then game 1, they beat the Diamondbacks 5-3. We saw Zach Wheeler get it done, saw Aaron Nola get it, or I can't remember who was pitching, but just a lashing 10-0 in game 2. Then we saw the Diamondbacks take care of it 2 straight nights, and we watched the bullpen game in game 4 really cost the Diamondbacks, or the bullpen game in game 4 cost the Phillies game 4, not the Diamondbacks. That was abysmal watching Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah,
in the bullpen game. I don't know how much of it you watch, but here's the thing. I understand Phillies fans being upset. Why are we letting him pitch those high leverage innings? But at the same time, look at who they had available. It was Michael Lorenzen, some other dude. I think the Ranger Suarez guy who's pitching tonight. No, it's Aaron Nola tonight.
Aaron Nola, 6 pitches in right now.
Yeah. So they didn't have a ton of options to go with. I understand the frustration, but you set yourself up for it by rolling in there with a bullpen game.
Yeah.
I hate those. I don't think you should have done it.
Ooh, Phillies rocking tonight.
I know. We got to wrap this up so I can go watch.
Yeah.
But the Phillies won game 5. They lead the series 3-2. They got a chance to clutch it tonight.
They do.
Or clinch it tonight. We got here by Philly banging the ball around. We got here with Craig Kimbrell choking that one game. We got here with the Diamondbacks just getting the job done in the innings they needed to with your typical unknown October hero. Did you know who Alec Thomas was before tonight or before this series?
Yes, actually, through MLB The
Oh,
Show.
wow. Oh.
That's literally the only reason why. I knew that he was a young star. Ma- uh, Young star making his. Gosh, I can't speak. Dang. Okay. Um, Making his name known. Throughout the Diamondback organization. So, um, yeah,
His little left-handed swing is pretty.
yeah,
He
it's
gets
pretty.
up there. I
Left-handed
think he
hitters,
took an
man. Left-handed
I
hitters
know.
are
Always looks
insane.
better. I think he had an outside pitch that he pulled and took yard,
Yeah,
too,
off
in
Kimbrel.
that game
Yeah,
4 off of Kimbrel, which isn't easy because he's still throwing heat. But
right.
game 6 tonight, does Philly close it out, or are we looking at game 7? It's
I
Aaron
mean,
Nola on the mound. Zach Wheeler
Game
is
6, Game 7. If they don't do it tonight, they're doing it Game 7. Philly by a million.
okay. All right, so you're pretty confident in that.
Oh
Am
yeah,
I wrong to compare Zach Wheeler and Nathan Eovaldi to each other? Like Nathan Eovaldi and Zach Wheeler are the
Nathan
same person
Eovaldi.
in the American League and the National League. This playoff,
Yeah,
I'm not saying
okay,
over
yeah,
the
yeah.
course of their career, this playoff, they're the two guys that have gone out there and gotten the job
Okay,
done for their
agreed,
team.
agreed. I agree with
Okay,
that.
all right.
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Zach Wheeler's got the nastiest splitter from the right side in the
that's what I'm
National League,
saying. Right. Yeah, yeah.
because that's what Nathan Eovaldi's got. So
Right.
you're taking them tonight. Merrill Kelly, Aaron Nola. I think Aaron Nola depends on how long he lasts. If he goes out there and he gives them 6-7 innings, I think they got a real shot because they still got Alvarado available,
Yeah.
Keckring if they wanted him,
Mhm.
Kimbrel, even if it's a high leverage situation, I think you have to roll the dice and try to trust him again.
Yeah.
But I think those are the keys to success. If the Diamondbacks are going to do it, we've seen them. The longer they stay in a game, the better shot they have. But
Yep.
if Philly's going to do it, they got to put him to bed early.
Yep. That's
Anything
true.
wrong with those statements?
Nothing wrong with those statements at all.
Cool.
Nola's already 13 pitches in with 2 outs, 2-2 count.
Beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go ahead
So
and do our best and worst
more
of the
of
week
that,
then.
and then I think Philly clinches it tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's not a terrible take right there.
Yeah.
Best and worst of the week. I think
Oh man, I didn't think
my
of this.
best of the week, I'm gonna have to settle with staying up late and watching the ending of all these games because it's essentially promised and delivered exactly what October baseball is supposed to be.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, it's great.
Worst of the week, Butterfinger came out with a new commercial advertising their candy prior to Halloween. I didn't think we could get worse than the Whopper ad or the more Twix ad, but it is worse because if somebody steals your Butterfinger, you should call the BFI. And
I don't even know anymore.
I
You and
I think
commercials.
we have okay, so here's where I am on this. You're getting one of 3 variations in commercial. You're getting a insurance company commercial, you're getting a law firm commercial, or you're getting a terribly scripted food commercial. And I'm lumping Wendy's, Burger King, Twix, now Butterfinger, all in there. And there is no variation between those 3.
Nope.
You can change my mind if you want, but that's my worst of the week. Another terrible ad.
Yeah.
I almost find a lot of pleasure in rating these ads when they're done. And I find a lot of them ending around the 1 and 2 range. Great candy. Great candies.
Yeah, love it.
Hate the
Yeah.
ads.
Hate
Hate
the
the
ads.
ads.
Yeah. With you on that one.
What's
I
your
agree with
best of
that.
the week?
Yeah, so my best of the week was the Jags win on Thursday. I think that was good. It just shows that we're strong. We're 5-2. We got a game coming up against the 49ers, and then we're going into the bye week either 6-2 or 5-3. I'm not mad at that at all. So we're gonna have a lot of rest, I think, just these next couple of weeks. So it's looking good. So that's my best of the week. My worst of the week. Have you been seeing just the Kansas City Chiefs games?
I've been trying not to. I watched like a good 20 seconds of their game against the Chargers and had to change the channel within those 20 seconds because Travis Kelce dropped a pass and they immediately panned over to the booth. And it's Brittany Mahomes and Taylor Swift talking about how bad that was that he dropped it.
Yep.
And as we said, I have nothing against Taylor Swift.
At all.
but put it on the cover of People magazine, not Sports Illustrated.
Right. And there was another stat, I think, like that they threw up there on CBS Sports. It's like yards per, or it's like something along the lines of yards per game before Taylor Swift and then after Taylor Swift. I'm just like, they're milking this too much. So my worst of the week is that exactly. Like People magazine, not Sports Illustrated. So
Your worst of the week is Taylor Swift. Understandable. All right, Swifties, don't cancel us. This is Diamonds and Hash Marks. We will be back for a Thursday edition of this wonderful show that you guys love. So hit us up with those 5-star ratings, like, subscribe, follow, do all the things. We're gonna go watch some baseball. So for the final time, I'm the host and producer, Alex Pichardo.
I'm the co-host, Peyton Pichardo. You dig? We'll see you later.